customers was really excited about. He was working on a project. He owns his own little photography studio and everything like that. He did my I got a whole bunch of like old antique meat processing equipment, and I wanted some really nice pictures taken of it. And he wanted to do this pro bono. I'm just working on some projects, so I've got some headshots, and he literally went, I'm just trying to find out the details. Right. As I light something, is this right? Or is this right?
And when it comes to like equipment, and your equipment is often your livelihood, whether it's manufacturing or whatever, right? I think in for a lot of us, right, especially at this table, there's a little bit of showmanship when it comes to your equipment. Right.
Yes.
So if you're using coins or whatnot, right? So
and that brings people back too,
right? Because in your example, right, everyone's got speakers and a laptop, right?
Exactly.
Lots of people have Dremels, right?
Yeah.
Anyone's got a deck of cards or an envelope, right? People have knives,
good luck.
Right? So, but there is right. So there is like an odd amount of, yes, you use your equipment, you need it, you have the right tools to be able to do your job well, but you also need to be able to kind of demonstrate with your tools
that you have
you are a notch above. You're not just somebody who is like, oh, I've got a Dremel, I can carve on whatever you think you like.
It's the poor craftsmanship that blames his tools, right? I mean,
oh gosh,
a great
line. Poor craftsman blames his tools. Yeah.
I am in the business in my career, like I mentioned, I do something a little bit different. Redundancy is a big deal in my business, in my career. If I walk into a wedding and this is the biggest day of this 25-year-old bride, it's huge for her. This, because let's be honest, we're all guys here. Guys just want to get it over with and go drink.
I just got married in March. Yeah, it was beautiful, and I was happy to have the day.
Right, but
but I didn't really decide most of the things. It was like, here, honey. Because I'm not going to make the right decision. Don't ask me.
Why there's a phrase. There's a phrase as useless as a groom before the wedding.
That's it's absolutely.
I've not
true.
heard that, but I like that.
I love it. In my business,
it's like a very old adage.
It's very true.
I will remember that. Yeah.
The bride is who 99.9% of the time. I mean, I could pull my email up and show you. It's the bride who contacts me, and then at the end of it, when she's almost decided, the big tough groom comes in to ask his questions,
right,
and to man it up.
Who's thing,
and
right? Yeah.
One of the questions that the groom almost always asks is, "What kind of equipment do you use?" And so with either the photography business, like Jamil in the back here, I'm sure he gets that. I don't do wedding photography, so I do mostly studio, and so people don't care because if you have a studio, you're probably professional, at least that's what they think. And but in the DJ business, what kind of equipment are you going to roll in here with a 6-foot fold-up table from Walmart, covered in a white sheet? And a lot of DJs do, and a lot of DJs make money doing that. My part of it is my gear is all commercial grade.
Yeah.
When someone hears commercial grade, they think, oh, well, it's meant for the long haul or whatever, whatever you think. What do you think when you hear commercial grade?
Better than what I can buy.
So there's keywords and buzzwords that you can use in email or in talking. And later on, when that person, kind of making the long way around back to what you were saying and how to retain business, when that person goes out and talks to 5 of his friends, he's going to sound smart because he's going to use
he uses commercial grade equipment.
He uses commercial grade equipment.
He's got his buzzwords.
Well, and in the guy's defense, right? He's trying to protect and make sure that she's not getting taken advantage of, especially because you don't know how much of it he's actually paying for, right? The idea that the father of the bride pays for anything is maybe a little bit of an anecdote of the past, right? And so he's coughing up a lot of the cost, and he's making sure she's not going crazy, right?
No, and
so he wants to know what he's paying for,
and I
that's
absolutely
perfectly
insist
fair.
on meeting both.
Absolutely,
for that reason, for the reason of I don't want either one of them to feel left out.
Right.
Yes, the bride does typically run the show, but in my business at least, and I'm sure in some of y'all's business as well, you have to deal with not only presenting yourself, but also protecting who you're talking to, protecting their ego, protecting their pride. Male pride is a huge thing.
Yes.
And you also don't want
A
to
fragile thing.
Right, a very fragile thing. And sometimes it can be. And you don't want to.
And sometimes you need to smack it down.
This is true.
Rarely,
but there's very professional
very rarely.
ways
There
to
are
do
ways
that.
to do it. Right,
You also don't want to make the bride, because feel inferior.
Right.
You don't want to make either of them feel inferior. If I go into a wedding and all I do is make eye contact with the man,
nope, that's not going to happen.
No.
You're not going to make that.
because you know who's calling all the shots?
Right. She is.
She is. And it's a mental thing. For some of us, it comes more naturally. I grew up in a house full of all women. So if I didn't make eye contact with my mother, the hand came out of nowhere. You look at me when I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, even with you guys while I'm sitting here talking, I try to make eye contact with each one of you. And it's just a natural thing that not only grew from how I grew up, but also for how long I've been doing business.
Right.
And if you do that, they're going to remember that. One of the things that I've learned, and I'll shut up here in a minute, is that,
No, you won't.
at the end of the day,
That's why we went from what we brought you along.
I thought you brought me along because I'm pretty.
And that shirt is the main reason.
The
Yeah.
DJ shirt.
The DJ
wear
shirt,
a
yep.
DJ shirt. Is something I said earlier. Is that they're gonna remember that they got a good value, like you said. But at the end of the day, they're gonna remember who you were and how you treated them,
And how they felt.
and how they felt when it was all over. Did they feel like they got what they paid for?
Right.
Are they gonna tell their friends? Are they gonna go out and say, post a video, and that's pride for me too, because when I see somebody, I end up as friends on Facebook with a lot of the people that I do weddings for, just because, we get to know each other for quite a while, 9-10 months. Most people book their weddings a year in advance, and I'll see them post a video of people having a good time, and they say my DJ was kick ass, and then
Now you feel that.
you feel it, and comments come down like, well, how do we get a hold of your DJ? I don't sit there and spam it. I wait till they show.
Oh, you can email me and da-da-da-da.
Right.
No.
Or they'll tag me and say, "Hey, Kevin, how do you get a hold? How do we get a hold of you?"
Right.
You
have a lot more success waiting for someone
Absolutely.
to mention you,
Absolutely.
and then coming
because
in
then
afterwards.
You don't look like a schmuck.
Right.
You don't look like the guy trying to drum up business.
Now that I've got your money, let me milk
Right.
you for every dime.
Yeah.
No, right?
No,
They're gonna
let me
bring
look
you
for your
up.
friends' dimes,
Be
too.
aware when they bring you up, but that's not the same thing as trying to step in and jump in the middle of their memory.
Absolutely.
Right.
Right, and it goes back down to the fact that you have a product you believe in as a business owner.
Confidence.
You have to have that confidence, and you have to have that ability to say, you know what, I truly do believe that I'm the best at what I do. Whether or not that's necessarily true, you have the confidence to believe, to say, you know what, maybe I'm not the best in quality, maybe I'm not the best in this, maybe I'm not the best in this, but I'm going to give you the best customer experience that you have ever had. And from that point on, I can guarantee you that you will come to me. I have had clients literally come to me and actively apologize to me for shopping at grocery stores when I was closed, because we take a week off at the beginning of the year,
Right.
or we take a week, we're closed on this day, and they're like, oh no,
Right.
I cannot tell you how many people come in on like a Saturday afternoon after a football game, and they're in
Devin,
like
I have a confession to
a
make.
full-blown bikini
Yeah,
with like what do you call
Pants.
it? Pretty much pajama shirt. Like shirt large enough to cover.
Knees, and that's about it.
Yeah,
So
that's about
what
it.
you're saying is they stop by your shop during a walk of shame?
No, I won't.
He would never say that. Not to anybody that might be listening. But anyway, continue.
The walk of shame. The walk of shame is never. They're not up early enough for the walk of shame to get into my shop. I'm talking about the people that are there literally 10 minutes before we close, running in, going, "Oh crap! We were mowing the lawn today, and we were hanging out by the pool, and we totally forgot you close at 5 instead of 6, like
Right.
you do the rest of the week." And they come in, and they're in bikini and a shirt that passes down their knees, and they buy their stuff, and they walk out the door. But the fact that we're there,
Yeah.
the fact that we treat them right, the fact that every person that walks in the door is somebody that we value, somebody we want to spend time with.
Because you do not get that kind of reaction. You do not get that kind of loyalty. You do not get that kind of care unless you have taken care of your customers, right?
Absolutely.
And if you do take care of your customers, they're going to talk about it, right? Like, it's one of those things. If people have a bad experience, they won't tell you. They will tell everyone else.
You are absolutely right.
But they will not tell you, right? Now, if they do tell you, bend over backwards to fix it. Because if you do fix it and you take care of them, right, they will then tell everyone else that you fixed it and how beneficial it was and how helpful it was a problem. And then he came out, fixed it better than I thought it was going to be at the first place.
Sometimes those opportunities are golden
moments. Don't try to set them up because, crap's going to happen. But just recover well. Yeah.
If you don't mind.
No, yeah.
A few years ago, I work with lots of DJs, and just like you were saying, we don't disparage our competition. We sell each other. And in this case, very odd situation where the bride was gorgeous and happened to be an ex-lover or ex-whatever of the DJ who was going to DJ it. And there was no, they were friends. I mean, I was married at one point, and my ex-wife and I are extremely good friends. We don't have kids together or anything. We were just great friends. Things happen. You have. I know that you have exes that are still good friends.
Well, yeah, I'm friends with exes.
And you are as well, and I'm sure you do as well.
I'm not. No, I'm a married man.
But
I've never had a girlfriend before.
He was married. The DJ was married to someone who was extremely jealous, and said, "You can't DJ this wedding." And we're talking 3 days before the wedding. Let's forget that we booked this wedding 9 months before.
We've booked it. We've prepaid. We've got a schedule. It's everything. Oh my gosh.
And she's threatening divorce, and he caved, and he said, "Let me call Kevin."
Right.
He calls me, and I just kind of shook my head. I'm like, yeah, okay. I happen to be open.
Right.
It was across town. Something I normally charge a ridiculous amount of money for is if it's out of the Metroplex, and this was out of the Metroplex, quite a bit out of the Metroplex. And I got there, and I met them, and they said, "We're really sorry it's short notice." And I'm like, you have nothing to be sorry for.
Right.
Just let me get all of your stuff together, and we'll do it. Well, it was a big house, backyard party, and I bent over backwards to make sure that they got what they wanted, even though they'd never met me.
Right.
We hadn't done my normal. I like to know who I'm walking in to a wedding to do. I'm like, oh yeah, this is Mr. and soon to be Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
And the family members' names. Everybody who's going to ask to dance.
Something you said, getting to know people's names.
Yeah.
When I do grand introductions, you've been to a wedding where they introduce, you're like Johnny on the spot with Bob introduced Bob or escorted by,
Yeah.
You do that kind of thing, you screw someone's last name up, they remember that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So I get pronunciations, and on my form, I write down the pronunciation. But long story short, this couple, I did their wedding. Everything went off with a hitch. 20 minutes in the reception, the sky opens up. I have 20 grand worth of gear sitting out there, and none of it's waterproof.
Oh, Lord.
So I told them, I said,
hey, I gotta cover
you guys want to dance in the rain? And the bride was ecstatic. She was so happy because she was getting married.
Yeah.
She's got this beautiful dress on. She's like, "Put your equipment." I was like, "You let me worry about my equipment. You have a good time." The guy pulled 3 tarps out, and we built, basically a lean-to against the wall, and the gear got wet. But you know what? The gear that
it didn't fry. Yeah.
I replaced 4 pieces of gear.
Okay.
Probably a grand total of $2,000 worth of gear got destroyed. And I'm insured, but big deal.
Right.
The word of mouth I've gotten from them since is 9 weddings.
Yeah.
That's roughly
totally
$16,000.
Right.
Off of destroying, off of bending over backwards and making sure a bride that I had never met had a good time.
Right.
I continue to this day. That was probably 7 years ago.
Well, just don't half-ass anything.
Don't half-ass it. No matter what. You know,
Yeah.
you see these guys
Stand behind what you do.
They get finicky, like, no, I can't do that. You're digging yourself a grave.
Yeah.
Honestly, something my grandfather taught me a long time ago. The biggest thing in the world is when somebody asks you a question, whether you know the answer or not, you better damn make sure you have an answer.
And that goes back to it goes kind of, I get what you're saying. That goes back to the 4 parts of, you know, a conversation is the message and the recipient and the sender and the reply. And the most important part of that is what you just said, is the reply.
That's something I like on the front end of that.
You're good. Continue.
Oh, okay. All right. Was something Richard Branson said. I think it's Richard Branson. He said, if somebody gives you an opportunity, say yes, and then figure out how to do it.
I just saw that interview or read that or something, but yeah.
Just figure out how to do it.
Figure out how to do
to
it.
some extent, right? Like if you know you can't,
Then
put in the
then
right
pass
action,
it
help
on.
them out,
That's where you
whatnot,
get into
right.
selling it to you, or giving it to somebody else,
Right.
and you still, like Devin
But
said,
if
you
it's
still
in the
have an
realm of
answer.
something you can
You
do,
want to
right,
make
do it.
damn sure you can deliver on the product that you want
Yeah.
to deliver in the first place.
Right.
But when somebody asks you a question,
Right. Somebody asked me if
you
I
better
could.
have at least an answer that you feel confident behind,
Mm-hmm.
that you feel confident that you can provide for them,
Mm-hmm.
and then you turn around and make sure that it exceeds their expectations
Absolutely,
in
yeah.
the
Right.
first place.
I got asked one time. I did an event for a company. Of course, I won't name it, but they asked me if I could make the CFO appear on stage, right? And I didn't know exactly how to do that because I do mostly do I do close-up magic, or I do mind reading on stage.
Right.
Right. So grand illusion is not really my
Right.
thing, but I knew at that moment I had enough of a resource base that I knew who to ask, and I was like, oh yeah, I
Yeah, we can do that.
yes, I can do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So cool, right? So you
Right.
just say yes. if it's within the realm, or you know
And
you
as
can
long
do
as
it.
you say it with confidence, because you don't want to go like, oh.
I don't know.
Because at that moment, you just told them you don't know how to do it,
Right.
Right.
and that they are not going to trust you.
This have you heard the story about? I don't know if it's true, but the story about Antonio Banderas when he moved to the United States, he wanted to become an actor. His agent told. This is a story. I don't know if this is true, but this is a story I've heard that his agent taught him his first words in English were "I can do this."
No.
And so he would do an interview or something. He'd do the part. He'd read everything phonetically, and they said, "Well, this part really requires you to know how to ride a horse." And he would just say, "I can do this." Right?
What? I that movie.
Yeah, Zorro. But so it was just this. I can do this, right? And then he would go and he would work his butt off to learn how to ride a horse or what. And then, of course, now everybody knows who Antonio Banderas is, and he's probably one of the most under talented people because
I'd say he's very appreciated, so I don't know if they're appreciated. Yeah.
my wife appreciates him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So,
who knows how many skills he has? You know, you just don't even know. He had to
well,
learn
I
from
mean,
this
we
role.
know he's Puss in Boots.
No, he's Puss. In
In boots.
The pause is important.
It is.
It is.
Put the right and fast on the wrong syllable.
All right, now we're just quoting Michael Myers. We love you, sir. A lot.
Except for the love guru.
Well, it's
What was
pretty
that?
obvious. This is about over.
I think we are running out. So, I guess kind of to sum up.
Yeah.
Do we want to wrap it up here?
Yeah.
This is the wrap, ladies and gentlemen.
Go ahead,
We're gonna make some points.
Oh, can you do the-
I'm giving them a nice
Wrap,
pause so
'cause
they
of the
can
butcher.
cut Devin's rant out right now. So kind of to sum up, you've been sitting here for a while talking about how to use existing clients or customers or existing business to generate
Yeah.
new business. And I think kind of the overall, the summary, if I had to pick one thing, would be communication. Making sure that, for example, if you can't do it, you become a hub and you find someone who can do
Yeah.
it. and that you make sure that if you commit to something, you follow through. Follow through is hugely important in all of our businesses. I mean, for example,
in business in general.
In business in any kind of business, if you don't follow through, you have no business.
Right.
If you have no clients, you have no business. You know, one of the things that I've heard over the years, a buzzword or a phrase, if you will, you know, teamwork makes the dream work. And if you are a one-person team, which a lot of us are in small business, you know, you have to make sure you don't overextend yourself. You have to make sure that you follow through. You have to manage your time. My fiance is an amazing designer. She's a theater designer. She designs costumes for theater, but she doesn't know business at all.
Well, hardly any of the creative types do.
And I was going to say that earlier. It's you know, when we were talking about personalities in business, and that, you know, a lot of us are extroverts, or at least we're extroverts on stage. You know, when we're on stage, whether that's really a stage.
When
or
you're
just,
on, it's your job. You got to be working it. That's your expectation. You gotta, and do it well. So.
And she is extremely extroverted, but has no business doing business.
Right.
So, in that regard, I help her. You know, I help her manage her time. I help her. You know, if somebody comes and says, "I need this," I'm like, "Well, you don't have enough time." Well, I can do it. I'm like, well,
do you?
You can't.
Right.
And she hates to hear that because, you know, she's a creative type and she's extremely driven.
Right.
But in order for her to make money and not lose money, and not disparage,
it's not just about proving somebody else wrong. Saying that you can't do something and going, well, you're damn right.
I'll show you.
Right. And a lot of the
you may not want to actually show me that you can do that. Like,
right.
Because it might turn out wonderful, but I mean,
she knows what I mean.
Did
When
you
I
get 3 hours
do
of sleep
that.
the last month?
And that's the thing.
Right.
You know, and right now she's in the middle. Currently, right now at this moment, she is in the middle of doing the entire theater pieces for Cats the Musical, and she has overextended herself. And when I sat down and talked about it, I said, "You're going to overextend yourself," and she was adamant that she wouldn't. She goes, "I have a timeline. I have this. I have this. I have this," and she's at 0 hour. And the last 3 nights, I haven't slept with my fiance. I've gone to bed at 10, gotten up at 6, and the bed is empty on the other side, and she is sitting in her studio in our house and like this, and in front of a sewing machine. That's not sustainable in business, because if you
can do it once or twice, so
exactly.
you know,
and you
every once in a while.
But you cannot sustain that in business, and people will not come back to someone who, you know, if their work gets sloppy, or if they miss deadlines, or if I don't show up for a wedding, God forbid, something.
Well,
terrible,
managing expectations.
Right.
Great.
Right.
Managing expectations.
If they're asking too much,
With what we're going on this point. Yeah, I've forgotten it now. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, so
Happens.
I think that's a good place to go ahead and call it a night. So if you have suggestions or questions or statements or input, throw it down in the comments below. We're going to have a prize, not for the best comment, but for the best response to a question. Part of what we're trying to do here is make it a community. And so communities, they throw advice out, they help each other out. We are the enablers, and I don't mean us 3 or us 4 or the people at this table. It's a part of you as well. So that is our goal with this. That's why we're doing it. We aren't the experts. We are other business owners just like you, just trying to make it. So put in your 2 cents, leave your comments, leave your suggestions, leave your questions, and help each other out. I'm Joe, and I'm a small business owner.
Hey,
Hi, Joe. I'm Alan, and I'm a small business owner.
Hi, Alan.
Hi, Alan. I'm Devin. I'm a small business owner.
And I'm Kevin, and I'm a small business owner.
And remember, everyone is working for themselves. Some of you only have 1 customer, but the reality is everyone is working for themselves. Until next time, see you then. Cheers. I think that went well.